All right, let's dive into a topic that, let's be honest, touches pretty much every single one of us: anger and conflict within our families. It's just a part of life, right? But how we handle it, well, that can change everything. So let's get into it.
You know, it's such a simple but powerful truth. Even in the tightest, most loving families, disagreements are going to happen. I mean, think about it. You've got a bunch of different people with different personalities and needs, all living together. A little friction is totally inevitable.
But here's the real question, isn't it? What happens when those little disagreements aren't so little anymore? When they stop being a way to solve problems and just become this destructive pattern? What happens when that constant tension just becomes the new normal in your home?
And the stakes here are incredibly high. Because when anger really takes the wheel, it can cause some deep, long-lasting damage to the bonds that matter most to us. We're not just talking about one bad argument on a Tuesday night. So, how can you tell when your family might have crossed that line? How do you know when you've gone from normal tension to a really damaging pattern? Let's walk through some of the key warning signs to look out for.
Okay, the first sign is probably the one we can all picture so easily. It's those arguments that go from 0 to 100 in like a split second. A tiny issue, maybe a chore that was forgotten, suddenly blows up into this huge fight that's not even about the chore anymore.
But you know, conflict isn't always loud. Sometimes, the most telling sign is the complete opposite: silence. When someone in the family just shuts down, gives the silent treatment, or starts avoiding everyone, that emotional withdrawal can be just as hurtful as a shouting match.
And then, of course, we have to look at the kids. They are like little sponges, soaking up everything they see. They learn how to handle their own big feelings by watching how the adults around them do it. So if you start seeing them act out aggressively, it's often a direct reflection of what they're experiencing at home. And the last big sign: nothing ever gets resolved. Every single disagreement either explodes into a fight or just gets swept under the rug, left to fester. It's a huge red flag that the basic tools for calm, respectful problem solving just aren't there.
So who does all this impact? Well, really, it can hit anyone and everyone. You see it between parents and kids who are stuck in these constant power struggles. You see it in couples who are trapped in that exhausting cycle of blame. Siblings fighting all the time. Heck, even stress from outside the home, like from a job, can pour gasoline on these family fires. Okay, so we've identified the signs, we see the problem. So now what? Well, let's shift gears and talk about solutions. We're going to look at what's essentially a toolkit, a structured way for families to find a healthier path forward.
Now, what makes these tools so powerful is that they're evidence-based. And that's not just some fancy term. It means this isn't about just sitting in a room and hoping for the best. These are proven strategies, methods that have been tested and shown to work, and they're always tailored to what makes your family unique.
So what does this actually look like? It usually breaks down into about 4 steps. First, you've got to figure out what sets things off, identifying the triggers. Next, and this is huge, you actively practice new communication skills. This means learning to say, "I feel hurt when this happens," instead of "you always do that." It's a game changer. Third, you bring in mediation to help solve problems. And finally, you get to the root of it all, addressing the big emotions that are hiding underneath all that anger. Look, learning and using these new tools, it's a process. It takes work. But the payoff? Oh, it's absolutely massive. So let's talk about the kind of transformation that's possible. What can you actually expect when you commit to this journey? The shift is it's profound. Think about it. Those explosive arguments, they can actually become calmer, more productive discussions. Those endless, draining cycles of blame can be replaced by real, mutual respect. And that painful, isolating emotional distance, that can be transformed into genuinely stronger bonds. But wait, here's a super important point. The goal here isn't to create some perfect family that never ever disagrees. I mean, come on, that's not realistic. The actual goal is to give the family the skills to handle those disagreements when they do happen, to handle them constructively, with respect. So what does that healthier home actually feel like? Well, it's a place where you have real, practical tools to stop a fight before it starts. It's where people actually listen to each other and try to understand. It's a home built on respect. And that creates a place where everyone just feels safer and more stable.
All right, as we start to wrap up, I want to reframe this whole conversation. What if we've been looking at conflict all wrong? What if it's not just something bad to be avoided, but maybe an opportunity for something much, much bigger?
Because that's the ultimate goal, right? It's about a complete shift in your mindset. It's about learning to see conflict not as this destructive force, but as a chance, A chance to understand each other on a deeper level, to grow closer, and to build a foundation of real, solid respect.
So I'll leave you with this one final thought to chew on. What if that one thing, that one challenge that feels like it's pulling your family apart, what if you could transform it into the very thing that becomes your greatest strength, the glue that holds you all together, stronger than you ever were before?